My name's Charlie, and I'd like to show you a thing or two about local online marketing. What you will leave with today, I'm going to try and give you a good idea of why it's important to be online and have a strong online presence. Because if you're not, you're going to get left behind, even if you're in a traditional business, in my theory. Your potential customers are already online, they're looking for you. You need to know what they're looking for so they'll find you. And you want to find buyers instead of people who are just looking. And I'll show you how to become the #1 authority online in your potential customers' eyes so you start showing up everywhere. And I'll give you the best 4 places to be found online and some of the best secrets to be found, the tools and resources I'm using, and give you an idea of what kind of money can really be made on your market online doing some of the stuff we're going to talk about today. Give you some real life examples. So who am I? Like I said, my name's Charlie, and I actually started out writing ebooks on eBay, and I had some pretty good success writing ebooks on eBay, selling something that I never even imagined that I could have done 10 years prior. So I feel like I've kind of earned the right to be sitting here in front of you today telling you about online marketing and online domination. I just recently wrote the book on local online marketing here for the Kansas City market. It just got released onto Amazon. It's under my name, Charlie Epp. And there's a picture of my book. So I've been doing online marketing now for about 10 years. Your customers are already looking for you online. Are you aware of that? There's 1 billion searches being performed online every month, and this is estimated to grow at 50% a year into the next whatever future years. 80% of all people first search online before making any purchase, so they're trying to find you. Are you there? But they're really not looking at yellow pages, newspapers, and traditional offline methods anymore. They're going to the internet. So can they find you? 2 out of 3 people are using Google to find their businesses online. What do you think they're searching for versus the 3 keys to online success? What do they really search for? Can they find your website? And are they buyers? So what are they really searching for? Well, they're looking up certain keywords, and you need to know what they are. So if we're in a moving business, let's take, for example, a moving company. Very generic, because you're going to be competing with every moving company in the country over those terms, and that's going to be a pretty competitive niche, I'll bet. Okay, let's narrow it down and say let's go after the Dallas Moving Company, because that's location specific, which is probably where you're at anyway, wanting to do business. Now if you go to this website, Google will tell you all kinds of market research on it and what people are searching for with those keywords and how many searches are being done each month, so you can copy that down and just go look it up, or you can do what I do, type in keyword tool into Google and it'll pull it right up. Okay, let's take for example the term Dallas Mover. Here's a breakdown of some software I have that'll help us see what the term actually looks for and what kind of searches are being done. You don't need to know all these terms. I'll just try and keep it very generic and try not go into technical stuff. So let's look at the term. The top term there is Dallas Mover. Okay, by adding a simple S to the term, we've increased the traffic by 20 times. Do you see that? It went from 95 searches to 1989 searches just by doing that simple little trick. Adding an ing, again, it went from 95 to 398 searches. So it's pretty amazing if you know which keywords to go after. So you need to know how the people are searching for you to find your type of business, and then you focus in on those keywords, because a simple S can make all the difference in the business. This is what we call a Google heat map, and that upper left hand corner there where it's yellow, red, and orange, that's what we call the golden zone in Google. That's where all the people are clicking. You notice all the X's in that area as well as the red and the yellow. This is the concentration of where people click on the Google page after they type in a search. And Google did this study several years ago, so It's got a lot of merit to it, and we kind of use this to concentrate getting our searches up and making sure that businesses can be found in this upper left hand corner in the golden triangle. Anything below that first red line is basically what we consider to be the not so good zone, and anything down below that, basically you start not getting very many clicks. So can your customers find you? According to numerous studies, here's where people click. Okay, that page I just showed you, you noticed in that golden triangle that the top part of the page seemed to get all the activity. Well, it's true. 41% of all the clicks go to that first ranked site. Number 2 site gets 12% of the clicks. Number 3 ranked site gets 8.5% of the clicks. After that, number 4 and down, you split up what's left over, and it gets much worse from there. So if you're not in the top 1, 2, or 3, you're basically out of luck. So you best be focusing on getting some people in that top area and making sure your search results show up there as well. But then you also have to know if the people coming to see you, if they're buyers. So you want to know that ahead of time, because if they're just looky-loos, you probably don't even want to waste your time having them come to your website. So wonder if you knew the difference on how you could tell just by using different keywords. Well, Microsoft makes a tool that's called the Online Commercial Intention Tool, OCI, and it helps break some of this down. Here's the exact web address of the tool. You can go online and look it up. Or you can do what I do, go search for Online Commercial Intention in any one of the search engines. And you want to have an OCI score of 70% or better, because those people are actually buyers. Let's take another look at this Dallas Mover example. If you'll notice there on the right hand side under OCI, the term mover and movers has an 80% recognition of OCI. So they want to hire a mover. They need somebody like today, tomorrow, or soon. Now if you notice, we changed the word up a little bit and we use the term moving. Look at that, it drops clear down to 60%. I wouldn't focus on that term unless you just want to have a generic presence out there. So I would not concentrate on the term moving. So what's the solution to do this? Well, I continue to do a 4-point online market domination plan to get your search results up and send the traffic over to you. Then that way you become the #1 authority online for your market. Right now, if you're not even close to page 1 of Google, you're missing out on all kinds of business. And towards the end of this presentation, I'm also going to share with you 2 keys that might prevent you from being ranked highly in any of the search engines. Like I said, I'll reveal that towards the end of the presentation. Let's take a look at online local domination. After you get that, you are everywhere. You're showing up in all the search results. Local search, natural search, pay-per-click. You're in the content. You're in the top 10. You have more consumers reviews than anybody else, and etc., etc. So you start showing up everywhere, and you become the #1 authority online, and everybody starts choosing you over everybody else. So how do you make this happen? Well, it's actually a pretty logical approach. You go after the local search first. Here in this red box here on the Google page, you'll notice it's identified as local search. You want to have a top result in that category. You want to get listed in the big 3, which is Google Local, Yahoo Local, and MSN and Bing Local. And if you're familiar with everybody using cell phones anymore, you want to make sure you use a map so that people can identify your business, and you're also going to be able to tap into the huge mobile market that's coming. And here's 3 of the local search secrets. You want to make sure you use your keywords. You want to get listed in the local directories I just mentioned, plus you also want to make sure that you're in local.com, dmoz.com, and merchantcircle.com. These are 3 of the most important directories in the eyes of the search engines. And you want to get reviews in local review sites like kudzu.com, yelp.com, insiderpages.com. That will help. All of those will help with your search results. Now if we look at normal search, this is probably, in my eyes, one of the most important categories you could be in. If you get this top ranking here, This will be down at the bottom of my page. It's far from the bottom of the page on Google, but I can only get a small window here on the page for the videos. So down there in the lower left hand corner there in the red box, that's the top #1 result for Google search. That's 41% of all the clicks on this page. You want to use your keywords, and you make sure you want to have your keywords in your site. This includes your title tags, your meta tags, your header tags, your image alt tags, and the page's content. I'm going to try and stay very non-technical here, so we'll keep it as simple as possible. You want to make it flow naturally. You don't want to make the page unreadable by stuffing the page with all kinds of keywords that you think are important, because Google will also penalize you there if it doesn't read naturally. And then you want to start working on getting links back to your website so that you will start moving up in the rankings. And you can do that by putting stuff in local directories, the articles, Web 2.0 sites, blogs, online video, online press releases, online classifieds, other websites, and social bookmarking. And basically it's a popularity contest because the most links wins. Let's look at some content results. Okay, on this page you'll notice video and press releases are in the top results, but they're in the top 10 as well, and this is just a natural web search on Google. We have a video ranking #4, and then we have a press release ranking at #5. So those are also possible as well. Now Google is really starting to love Web 2.0 sites more and more and more, so we want to make sure we have some web properties like YouTube. That's a great one because it's easy to put a video up and get it ranking. You want to do some online press releases like prweb.com. You want to do some online articles through maybe Ensign.com. That's the top rated one on the internet right now. Social content sites like squidoo.com, and online classifieds like Craigslist.org, and you can also use one I didn't list here, Backpages.com. And you also want to make sure you're in the online business directories like MerchantCircle.com, review sites like Kazoo.com. Now let's move on to the one that does cost money. This is pay-per-click, but you should probably also consider doing something here. If you do it correctly, it doesn't cost a whole lot of money. This one does cost money. And your ad will only show up for the certain keywords that you select or target. And then you set how much you want to pay, and you only pay when somebody clicks on your ad. So you kind of have to determine how much is a visitor to your site worth. And then you need to make sure to geo-target. So if you have a business, do you want to go outside of a radius of 50 to 100 miles away from your business? If you're a local business and you say, for example, have a plumbing business, you probably don't want to go much beyond a 50 or 100 mile radius. You don't want to target the entire world. So Google allows you to do that, and it's very helpful because it can minimize your costs. Here's your picture of where those pay-per-click ads are featured at. The top box there in the very center there with the red box around it, those are pay-per-click results, and then over there to the right, those are also pay-per-click. Anytime you click on one of those, the advertiser there has to pay for the ad. Now let's talk a little more about that plumber and geo-targeting your ads. Okay, somebody types in they need a plumber. Okay, Google already knows where you are located at, so they know that you're maybe in Dallas. So then how far away do you want to have your people coming, or you want to go to their houses to work on their plumbing? Well, that's something you have to determine. If you geo-target, then you can keep the cost down because you're going to have cheaper clicks. Your traffic is going to be very targeted, and you'll have virtually no competition because nobody's doing this at this point. So what happens when you dominate your market online? Well, I contend you could make big money. Let's take another look at the movers market for just that Dallas term. There's 102 keywords, and I've only listed 17 on these page. So the searches here, you'll notice that Dallas movers term is 1,989 searches. That's a lot of searches, and those are daily numbers. That isn't monthly, yearly, or etc. That's one day. So if you break this down, 1765, that would equal 5299.50. Save that number because we're going to use it again. And that's only for 17 out of 102 keywords. Now if we went after and tried to target all those keywords, we'd have all kinds of traffic. But we'll get to that later. Of the people looking to buy, we want to look at the owner commercial intention as well. That Dallas Movers term also gets the 84% holy grail buying intent, so that's probably the good keyword to focus in on. Now if you had to go out and buy all this traffic at pay per click, it would cost you nearly $20,000 just to buy that traffic, and monthly it would cost you nearly $240,000 just to buy that kind of traffic. And there's no guarantee those people would come to your site and would be willing to buy anything. So let's do the numbers. Okay, let's take that 52,950 number I just gave you. Excuse me. And let's break it down a little further. Let's be conservative and say we only get 10% of those people coming to our website. That's 5295 visitors a month. And let's say we aren't very good at converting either. We're only getting 1.3% of the traffic to convert, give us a call, and come see us. But let's make an assumption here that the customer value is $1,000. Each new customer we get is worth at least $1,000. So take 5295 times a 1.3% conversion rate times the $1,000 customer value. You multiply that out, that's 66,187 you're making a month just doing what we talked today, and that's ultra conservative numbers. But you could also go after even some more terms in that. That's only for one keyword that we were focusing in on. So you could go after apartment movers, pool table, piano, out-of-state movers, surrounding cities. You could go locals in a city like Uptown, Lakewood, Highland Park, downtown. Okay, here's the two that, of course, Google doesn't publish any of what they do, but we're finding that if you don't have these two items on your website, then Google has a tendency to penalize you. You need to make sure you have a privacy statement on your website telling you what you do with your customers' information, and you also need to have a contact us page. If you don't have either one of those prominently displayed on your web page, odds are Google's probably going to not give you as high a search result as somebody else who has those. So now, if you're the #1 authority online, what do you think that's going to do for you? Thank you for your time.